It's your girl, NickyNicole of Divas of the Roundtable Podcast. I'm joined today with the lovely Dr. Mechelle Canaday. Let's see, Mechelle Canaday is a passionate change agent. She's master life coach and a dynamic leader dedicated to mental health, healing, and transformation. After a pivotal moment in her personal life, Dr. Canaday committed her life to supporting others facing similar challenges, guiding them toward healing, growth, and wholeness. In 2013, Dr. Canaday founded The Next Chapter for Me, a thriving Facebook group designed to uplift women navigating life transitions alone. After becoming a life coach in 2017, Dr. Canaday launched Next Chapter for Me Consulting, Planning, and More, LLC, where she provides transformative coaching and publishing services, empowering individuals to embrace their stories and expanding her impact. She also launched Embrace for You Training Solutions, where she hosts Come Sit Down and Let's Talk Show, a platform for an authentic conversation on mental health, personal health, and holistic well-being. She has a virtual church, Embrace You Ministry, where she holds a leadership role with, Confab Digital TV, a digital television network dedicated to helping other content creators bring forth their creativity to television. Dr. Mechelle Canaday is a woman who wears many hats, all the while being married to her husband, Cedric, since 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show, Dr. Mechelle Canaday.
Hello, hello, hello.
Right, thank you for coming. Thank you. Woo! These braces ain't making life easy, I tell you. They just moving and shuffling your teeth. It's strange, but here we go. I tried to make it do what it do. And after reading your bio, my introduction was small, but compared to what it is that you contribute to this world and the help that you do show a lot of people, and you give women and everyone, just trying to uplift people and help guide them through some of the transitions that we all go through in life. And it can be more difficult for others than it is for some,
Yes.
So I myself have had a life coach, a life and wellness coach. So we were talking about life situations as well as changing eating habits and changing things like that up too, because that was one of my big issues in my life that I battling weight. It was one of those things for me that was causing me a lot of trouble. So I reached out. She was actually my crew coordinator, and I reached out to her, and it was fantastic having a life coach and having someone outside of your circle that you can talk to, and you can peel the layers of the onion back, and it's like a no judgment zone.
Absolutely.
So how did you get started on your journey, like into the mental health field? How did you get started as a woman that's saying that this is something for me, this is the avenue that I'm gonna go on?
So I lived in Valdosta, Georgia. I moved there in 2009. 2010 through 2014 was some of the darkest hours in my life.
Okay.
Let's see, I was going through a separation and divorce from my husband. We were pastors in the city. My daughter was sexually assaulted by the church musician who was my husband's best friend. And from that sexual assault, a baby who she decided she wanted to keep was born. So, but in that, we were made as if we were the perpetrators and not the victim. Like we were even ostracized out of church, where we were not even allowed to go on church premises.
Wow.
And this is coming from someone who did not know a life outside of church. My mom went in labor on her way to church.
Wow, okay.
So that was such a hard, a difficult, a dark place. The person who was the perpetrator, family was really well known in the city. So well known, they have several streets named after them. So it really was a us against the world.
Okay.
I felt like I was losing everything, like the life that I had known since I was 19 years old. Everything was gone. And then because my daughter, she was 13 at the time, we were going through a DFACS investigation. So they even tried to remove my grandbaby out of the home. So it's like everything I had at that moment, I felt like it was being snatched away.
Yeah.
That was some of the darkest hours. Like I had always struggled with mental illness, but never knew it. Because my mental illness, I'm a high functioning person. So I'm someone who I could be at my lowest and still function above average. So people don't recognize when I'm in a spiral or when I'm in a bad place. During that time, I attempted to commit suicide several times. I would drink alcohol, take pain pills and muscle relaxers, as many as I could until I passed out, because I was in so much pain. I did not want to even live. And going through it, like there was no one I could really tell in full totality what was really going on in my life. My daughter, she was expelled out of school. We were fighting a truancy case. She really wasn't truant. She had an IEP. They didn't follow any of her IEP guidelines. So we were going through a battle with the Department of Education, the city of Valdosta, and her school. All of this was happening at the same time. So I had nowhere I could turn. So I in that time, I wasn't thinking or considering like what my children gonna do if I'm not here. Or what about this brand new baby that she just brought in the world? Or even, have I completed my life's journey of purpose? I just wanted the pain to end. I just wanted the battle in my mind to stop. So I remember the last time attempting suicide, when I woke up that next morning, I was like, God, like, so you just not gonna let me die? So I said, since you're not gonna let me die, that must means that you really have a purpose for me being here, because people die for less than that. And I remember that day I said, if I find someone who's going through the things that I've experienced, I won't let them walk alone. Because in those times, I had no one I could talk to. I'm the 8th child of my mom, 8th child of my father. But I couldn't call nobody and say, this is what's happening. So that was what sparked in me to want to help people. I remember one of the first workshops I taught was Don't Die with Purpose. Miles Monroe says the richest place is the graveyard, because there's so many ideas and things that could have been birthed in the earth that people took to the grave. And I decided, when I die, I want to die empty.
Oh, that's good.
So,
I mean, you fulfilled.
There is nothing else left.
Nothing else left. That's right. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, that's a testimony in itself, just, you know, like you said, going through that with your daughter. So not only are you hurting, but now you have your child that's hurting too. So you have to be strong for her. But like they say, check on your strong friends. You know, you've seen that on Facebook. When people say that. So you had to be strong for your child, and all the while you're crumbling inside, is, you know.
This happened to my daughter at 13. At 13, I was also sexually assaulted. So I was literally triggered by her situation. But I wanted to give her a different experience. So I'm battling my own past molestation, my own past violation. while trying to help and support her. So many Black women find themselves in that space and we repeat what was done to us. In that moment for myself, I felt like I wasn't heard. I felt like nothing was done. I felt like the other party was chosen over me because it was a family member. I felt like they were chosen over me. And I was determined that no matter what I've got to do, that won't be her experience.
Okay. That's great. That's great. That, it's not good that you knew firsthand the experience, but that you was able to recognize how your experience were and how traumatic it was for you. And you was able to step outside of that and be something different. And so your daughter, she's doing well now?
She is. My grandson, he'll turn 14 in July.
Oh, nice.
And he has such a unique purpose in the earth. He's a child that everybody loves. He's had a couple of viral videos on social media, and LeBron James has even featured one of his videos on his Netflix special, Starting Five. And it was hilarious because my grandson, he plays a couple of sports, and one of his baseball buddies' mom called me like 10 o'clock at night, and I looked at the phone. It startled me. One, we don't talk by phone. We always text. I answered the phone. She was like, "Did you know that Tyler is on Netflix?" I was like, "No, I didn't." So they told us where it was. And so he has had such a impact already on the earth. So to think that, because when I knew she was pregnant, but I took her to, I knew she was pregnant. A friend of mine who was a nurse at the ER brought me some pregnancy tests. It showed negative. But I knew she was pregnant because the Lord had told me. And I prayed, I bargained, everything. I live right. You know how we do. And his answer to me was still no. And it baffled me. I'm like, I've had a relationship with you all my life. And if I come to you and I ask of something, there's very few things you don't give me. Why would you not give me this? Because I'm the supporting person who supported everybody else's children. Who's been there for everyone else's children. Who people, when they couldn't deal with their children, I was the one they called. I'm the fun auntie. I'm the secret keeper. And here I am, my daughter's 13 and pregnant, and I can't even explain it to people. So when the Spirit told me to take her, I took her to the Youth Pregnancy Center. And at that moment, she was 19 weeks pregnant. And it was like, you got a few days to make a decision. So they went out, and me and her had a conversation. I said, if you want an abortion, I'll pay for it. Because in the moment, all I could think about is, if she has this child for the rest of her life, she's going to be staring in the face of the person who sexually assaulted her. And I know I could not imagine being in that space. She said to me, "Mama, you've taught us better than that." Look, that was like a pow.
The student became the teacher.
Yes. And I said to her, and that day I said, if you want to raise your baby, I'll be alongside you all of the way. And what I did was, I never stopped her from being a child. But she cared for her baby. That baby became the whole city baby. He went to basketball games, football games. I literally had to buy her a harness so that she could carry him around. So she's always had a really love for him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So how do you think, you basically kind of answered this, but do you think because of your real life experiences, that affects the way that you approach people that you work with about on mental health?
Absolutely. One of the things that I always share is I heard a video years ago where Dr. Miles Monroe said, you should be able to sum up your life in one sentence. And my sentence is, I was created to be to others what no one was to me.
I love that.
Yep. So most things I do, there's not a blueprint. There are people who build blueprints, and then there are people who are followers. So I always have to go through it, and I'm going through it. But I've learned, like, my spiritual gift and natural gift is teaching. So I go in out of any situation, I'm going to extract a lesson. So it's those lessons that I extract and going through that empowers me to be able to say, as a person, as a preacher, as a coach, I don't practice what I preach what I practice.
Nice. That is nice. So after reading your bio, and I saw that you had in there that you are a master life coach, what exactly does it mean to be a master life coach?
So I went through my first life coaching certification in 2016. And in going through that certification, because I've always been a coach, going through that certification, I was like, this is good, but this should be more. One of the things is I used to be an operations supervisor for DirecTV in Valdosta through Converges, and they brought a company in who happened to be from Jacksonville, and they trained us to coach, but it was from a performance basis.
Okay.
So I became knowledgeable of the skill of coaching in 2010. So becoming a life coach, I remember on the application, it was 2 questions that stood out. What do you want to do in 5 years? What do you want to be doing in 10 years? So I said, in 5 years, I want to be coaching coaches.
Okay.
In 10 years, I want to have my own coaching certification. Dr. Lipowich, one of my college professors, said, you make money doing a thing, but you make more money teaching it. So it's always been my thought process, whatever I do, I don't want to just do it, I want to teach it.
Okay.
So in 2019, I went through a dual certification for a trainer and as a master life coach through the same company that certified me. So in that, that's where I became a master coach. I took a master coaching certification.
Okay.
But in the trainer part, we had to create a program. So I was like, you know what? I'm writing a life coaching program. So I wrote a life coaching program, and I had 2 friends who said, we'll try it out. I was like, okay. They tried it out. It was so life-changing and impactful. They was like, you got to teach this. You got to be doing this because people need this. So 2019, I launched Embrace You Training Solutions, which is the parent company. It's a training company where we provide training services for medium to small businesses who don't have a budget for a training department.
Okay.
We'll go in because I have a degree in education. I'm certified to build curriculum, so I can build the curriculums, and then I have a training team that I'll bring in and we'll train their information, or if they already have their information, we'll train what they provide us.
Okay.
So I said, so this is going to be one of the things that the training company offers. It's going to be life coaching. Did my first class in 2019. Now we have certified nearly 200 coaches, and we have 6 different certifications.
Nice. That is great.
So it is, it's really what I stated, being to others what no one was for me.
Okay.
So, but everything that I do, I look at it from a holistic perspective. So even our coaching certifications are geared towards helping you heal and then teaching you how to help others heal.
Okay. Let me see. Have you noticed an increase in people seeking assistance concerning their mental health? Have you noticed a influx of people needing assistance now, or are people at least admitting that they need it? Because I believe that the demand was always, well, the need was always there.
Yeah.
The demand for it just wasn't there because people were suffering in silence. Have you noticed people become more vocal about it? Like, I know Simone Biles and some of the gymnasts, you know, high profile sports people have taken a step back because of their mental health. Have you seen, just in regular folk, everyday people, more people asking for help?
So, as you said, yes, there's always been a need, but especially in the African American community, we called it something different. We would say things like, "Oh, they shell shot."
Yeah.
But that was really PTSD.
Yeah.
We'll say things like, "Oh, you know your auntie, she a little touched. She a little special."
Yeah.
But we made excuses for those things instead of getting them help. I will say the influx in people who are more open to it is not Generation X.
Oh, okay.
The millennials down,
yeah.
they seek help.
Yeah, because I believe Generation X and before that, they were always just taught to pull themselves up by the bootstraps and, you know, and just
muscle through.
Yeah, muscle through it, just fight through it. And, you know, a lot of people got flack, I'm sure, from, you know, daddy just walking off. Daddy went to the store and never came. Daddy probably had a lot on his plate, you know,
did.
Or mom, you know, it was a lot of commitments to facilities or Chattahoochee, you know, people going away. But people was having mental breakdowns and did not know that help was available, which I don't know in the Black community if it was as readily available as it is now. We have more people like you who are taking these courses and learning how to navigate and help other people through, whereas years ago, I don't think it was, many years ago, I don't think it was as prevalent in our community.
I think a couple of things, and this is, I'll say Michelleisms, because that's what they call it. Here's some my thought process. One is because of the climate, like we were not able to say what was going on in our houses.
Yeah.
So you had generations that passed on what happens in this house stays in this house.
Yeah.
And I believe that trauma takes place in two ways, situational and intentional.
Yeah.
Even though things happen and mama said you don't tell nobody, like it was situational. It's not that she didn't want to do anything. She didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
There wasn't language for it.
Yeah.
For years, I had resentment against my mom, even for my sexual assault, because I felt like she didn't choose me in that time. So a couple of years ago, having a conversation with her, she finally asked, "How did it affect you when your daughter was sexually assaulted at the same age you were?" That opened the door for me to say to her, "I felt like you didn't choose me." And what she said was, in that situation, I felt like I did the best thing, because if your brothers had known, they would have done some things to them.
Yeah.
And not only would we have lost that family member, we would have lost them too.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I chose not to. As a child, like I couldn't comprehend that. As a mother, having to have made some difficult decisions, you made the right decision.
You can see it now, yeah.
One of the things I say often is what you see depends on where you sit.
Where you sit, that's right.
Sitting as a child, that was like it built up anger and resentment.
Ooh, I love that.
That I could never say to my mama, "I'm mad at you."
I swear, just you saying it, I've never heard that, but that is so profound. What you see is dependent upon where you sit.
Yep.
Wow, that is deep. I mean, it don't sound like, but that is deep when you think about it. That is deep because so many people see things so differently from one another, but that's because that's where they're at their station in life or wherever they're positioned at, even in your life or in knowledge of the situation. They may not know as much as everybody else.
And having more information sits you in a different place because I finally was sitting in the seat of a mother. So I could look at my mother so much differently. Yeah. Because of me and my mom, so I saw on TikTok, my kids, they be like, you need to stay off TikTok. But I learned so much on TikTok. So I saw on TikTok, and it's actually a journal now where it has like questions that you ask your mom. So I had to take my mom out of town. And so I just randomly started asking her the questions and the information, like, as a child, I only knew in part. As an adult, I was like, wow. Like my mom, she would always tell she would say, the doctors wanted me to abort you. She said, but I told them, my husband, he might not be able to do this again. Because my mama was 39, my dad was 51 when I was born. Okay. But the part I did not know is my mother was in the hospital. She was suffering from a lung condition, and the medication that they wanted to give her to make her better would cause her to abort me. And she said, y'all need to find something else because I'm not going to abort my baby. Her family members even said, we don't want to lose you. You can get pregnant again. And she said, my husband is old. He might not be able to do this again. So it shifted my mind perspective from my mama wanted to have me to my mama was willing to risk her life to have me. Yes. How can you have resentment at a person? But the thing is, where we sit.
Yeah, where you sit. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Let's see. So I wanted to ask you what is something that you want the general public to know about mental health and how important it is to keep up with your mental health and to make sure you keep it in check? How important is that in your day-to-day lives? Let the people know how important that is.
So the end of 2022, the Lord told me to do less so he could do more. Doing less was something that was so challenging for someone who had been a full-time entrepreneur and full-time employee all the way through to 2021. So I sat and I really started dealing with my inner child. When I say the amount of hidden trauma, because our brains will tuck things away, and we may not remember the incidents, but our bodies keep score. So we're being triggered and we don't know why. Sitting through that season, I went to therapy. As a pastor, I was in therapy. I went to therapy. I had a coach. I had a mentor. There's no such thing as self-help. Yes. You can't heal by yourself. Yeah. So you've got to find safe people in safe places to heal. So going through that process, I really was able to deal with my little girl who didn't feel safe. Okay. Which was why I overate, which was why I was addicted to sugar, which was why I was addicted to spending. Healing that little girl, her finding out that she was safe, me learning through therapy and through coaching how to reparent myself. This is like now the first time in my life I feel that I'm living truly as an adult.
Okay.
Because when situations would happen, the little girl in me would show up. So doing the work, as uncomfortable as it is.
Yes.
So I walk people through inner child healing. I tell people healing hurts, but the way you are now hurts as well. So you got to choose your hurt.
Yeah.
Do you want this hurt that if you go through it on the other side of it, it ends, or you want to continue how you are and continue with this hurt?
Yeah.
So we have to pick which hurt we want. Get hope.
Yes.
Help is so readily available now. And you need a therapist. I'm currently in therapy, and this is my fourth time in therapy, but this is the second time in this healing process I've gone through therapy. When I went to therapy the first time, I was focused on healing the inner child. I started having recurring dreams of traumatic experiences from my first marriage. I couldn't pray them away. I couldn't oil them away. I couldn't speak in tongues to get them away. I couldn't talk them away. And they just started coming even faster. I went back to therapy. My therapist said, it's because you've done a great job at healing the inner child, but that young adult is wounded. So I'm back in therapy learning how to heal that young adult. I've learned that my life didn't have bridges. Like I was flung from one place to the other, so I never had a safe place to land. Yeah. I'm the comforter, so I've never had someone to comfort me. Yeah. And funny thing, she told me, she said, I want you to go buy a blanket. And when I tell you my staff laughed so hard, I'm like, y'all, I got a blankie. Just like the little kids walk around with their, yes, I got a blankie. Yes. And when I have those moments that I feel like I need comfort in, I wrap up in that blanket. Like it's so, it's such an awakening moment. When you start learning about you, like all these years, I feel like I only knew a version of me. Yeah. Two things, and I'm stop because we in my vein. I can talk about this all day.
You're good.
So Monday I'm turning 51, and I had just thought to myself the other day. I was like, I'm turning 51, but I feel like I'm only 1 year old because coming up to my 50th birthday, I became someone different. Well, I'll say I became another version of me. I became the healed version of me, where I can show up as my authentic self, where I can show up and I'm not bringing my representative. So one of my assistants messaged me and she said, happy 50 plus 1 birthday.
50 plus 1. Yeah.
I was like, girl. She's like, get out my head. So when we become like a real version of ourselves, like the true, God's intent, that's when we're walking in purpose. And I feel like I'm turning 1 year old in purpose.
And I think, like listening to you speak, it reminded me of the other morning I went out in the morning time. So I caught the morning show. And Charlemagne, the God, was on there. He's big on mental health as well. He talks a lot about mental health. And so it was, hearing you speak, it was making me think about like how many of us now, things we see on social media and how people move, I'm able to step out and be like, that person hurt, that person got some issues, that person. And I see it so much now. And I remember he had this, Charlemagne had this guy, this rapper named, I think his name Friday on there. And he was saying his dad had passed, and Meek Mills had reached out to him, and he went in the booth, and the guy was just rapping about his dad, and his was a new trauma. Daddy had just died. Wow. And Meek Mills came to the studio and did his verse where his dad had died years before, but he said all of that trauma. So that shows that you have grown men walking around here with money, fame, power, and stuff, and they're carrying a lot of trauma from their childhood and mental illness. I'm telling you, social media is just putting it on display for everybody to see.
they had the trend, Hillman Talk University, where a lot of Black professors and teachers and coaches are teaching courses on TikTok. So in my life coaching course, I do a program I wrote years ago titled "Get Your Life." But I now know it's an intro to inner child healing. So I've been doing this work with these coaches, and everybody's like, you really got to bring that out and teach that to the world, because there are things we are doing that we don't even realize the origin of it. It comes all the way from our childhood. What we do is we go deal with the fruit, but the vine and the root is still there. So it's gonna grow back no matter you can't change behavior until you change your mind.
That's right.
So in that program, like I teach, where did it come from? I do a diagram where we list you, your mom, your dad's top 3 strengths, top 3 struggles. Alignment every time. Even parents that they didn't live with or knew, alignment every time. Mommy, daddy issues. I've had people to say, oh, I had an amazing childhood, to end up at the end of the class crying like, oh my God, I did not know. Because we don't realize, like, we do abandonment and rejection. Managing self-sabotage. Like Thursday's class was self-sabotage. And I was explaining how self-sabotage is saying you want something but doing everything to not get it. And so when it comes to these areas, like we do these things and we don't know it. You have people who are like, I've been trying to do this all my life, not knowing you're not able to do it because of your childhood trauma. So knowing is half the battle. That's what G.I. Joe said. Knowing is half the battle. And so as we become aware of these things, and one of the things that, so I have people from everywhere in this class because, again, it was promoted on TikTok. So it's outside of my local domicile. People I don't even know. And one lady said, my therapist loves you. She said, I've been in therapy for years. And she said, come into these classes and you saying, now take what you've learned and go work it out with your therapist has given me a whole new outlook and thought process on my healing process. So if you ask, what would I say? Being whole is possible.
Being whole is possible. All right. Well, there you have it. Y'all heard it from Dr. Mechelle Canaday. But before we get out of here, we're going to run through our End with Twin with Mechelle real quick. And Mechelle, these are just 10 rapid fire questions that I shoot at you so that the people could get to know you more on a personal level and just see what you like in life. What you know. All
right, let's go.
So the first question, tropical island or winter wonderland, which do you prefer?
Tropical island. I'm a Floridian.
I know that's right. What is your favorite holiday?
None of them. I've decided the last 2 years I'm not celebrating holidays.
Okay. There you go. I need to do that for Christmas, them 5 grandkids.
But the thing is, like, Valentine's Day, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day because we love each other every day.
I know that's right.
And I don't need a date on the calendar to tell me that I need to
get some roses today. You can get them any day.
Look, I'll give my husband good sex. He get it every day.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I'm with it. Okay, let's see. Your favorite sports team?
Oh, probably Dallas Cowboys because that's my husband's team.
Okay. If you could go somewhere, Japan or France?
Oh, it would definitely be France.
Oui. Okay, if you wasn't doing what you're doing now, what is it that you would want to do in life? When you were a kid, what was it that you wanted to do in life?
I wanted to be an attorney.
An attorney? I can see that. I can definitely see that. Okay, if you're an animal lover, which do you prefer, cat or dog?
I'm a cat girl, even though I have a dog.
Okay. And let's see, what is your dream car?
Oh, so 3 years ago, bought it. I have a cocaine white Mercedes.
Nice. There you go.
I drive it.
Okay. And your dream vacation?
I want to go to Hawaii.
Okay. I loved Hawaii. You will love it.
Okay.
Okay. If you could talk with anyone in the world, dead or alive, who would it be?
Miles Monroe.
Miles Monroe. And because we all the same age, we throw these questions out to our people our age. New Edition of Boys to Men.
No Edition.
All right, Candy Girl.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Mechelle, let the people know where they can find you at and what you have going on.
So you can find me on all social medias at Miss Get You Together.
Okay.
Yes. And it's MRSGETU, the number 2, together. And that's on all social media. What do I have coming up? So my company, we've launched a ministry leadership coaching course. So pastors, leaders, people in ministry, whether it's marketplace ministry or it's inside the 4 walls, you need this program because you are ministering to hurting people and you are being triggered and hurt by the people you're trying to heal. We want to give you the tools and the resources to do it.
Yes.
Last thing is, let's see. I have a digital television network, Confab Digital TV, which is found on Roku and Amazon Fire Stick. You can look us up. And if you're interested in building podcasts, talk show, we have a whole program that we can take you through from concept to action.
To action. Well, there it is. Dr. Mechelle Canaday was in the building, and we appreciate her coming through, speaking with you all about her personal journey and also the end result in protecting your mental health and getting yourself somebody to talk to, even journaling. I recommend journaling too. Like, journaling is a big thing. So Dr. Mechelle Canaday came on and shared her story, her truth, and she also dropped some jewels about mental health. I want to just give a shout out to my girl Ladybug. She had something to do with her sorority today. And also Spicy Red. She has some business to handle up in Georgia. So that's why they're not on the show today with me. But you know, my girls thinking about me and I'm sure they sending me good well wishes. You guys will check them out next time on our next podcast. But that's it for today. This your girl, NickyNicole. If you think about anything with love, peace, and prosperity, think of me. Be easy, y'all.